All right, so are you ready to dive into a world where, like, lives intersect, stories intertwine, and theater comes to life?
Sounds fascinating.
It is. We're going to be exploring l'appuntamento, or The Appointment, and it's a play by LL. And it all unfolds around a cafe table. Pretty simple setting. But what's cool is that we get three unique perspectives.
Oh, wow. So almost like three plays in one.
Exactly. Each part of this one-act play is told from a different character's point of view. We
Yeah.
have Luca the waiter, then Louis the man, and then Tay the woman.
Interesting. And, the author's note mentions how important these three lives are for the magic of creation. What do you think that means?
Hmm. It's a good question. We'll have to see how it plays out. But let's start with Luca, our observant waiter. He starts his day with this really vivid dream about his hometown, Catania.
Oh, I love when plays start with a dream sequence. It always sets the mood.
Right. It's like we're transported there with him.
Oh,
This bustling fish market, volcanic ash covering everything, the longing for refreshing limonada.
it sounds beautiful, but also there's this underlying sense of longing, maybe for a simpler time.
Yeah, there's definitely a contrast between the energy of Catania and his current reality in the Roman suburbs. And speaking of routine, Luca leads kind of a double life.
Double life. How so?
Well, he's a waiter by day, but get this, he's also a passionate hip-hop dancer by night.
Wow, that's an interesting combination.
Right. And there's this great detail about him choreographing dances while working almost like he's conducting the secret symphony in the middle of the lunchtime rush.
So he's an artist at heart, whether he's serving food or expressing himself through dance. I wonder if that's like a form of escape for him.
Maybe it definitely adds a layer of complexity to his character. And, the owners of the Freshetta are actually leaving soon, so there's this sense of uncertainty about his future.
So there's change on the horizon for Luca, but he's also a keen observer. He notices the regular customers, their routines, almost like he's a silent witness to their lives.
Which makes him perfectly positioned to observe the drama that's about to unfold with Louis and Lai. Speaking of Louis, he's anxiously waiting for his appointment with Lai. And the moment he receives her message, he's practically buzzing with excitement.
He must be really smitten with her.
Oh, yeah. His internal monologue is hilarious. He's comparing himself to a World War I soldier on a critical mission.
Wow, so he's really feeling the pressure.
Totally. And the way he scrambles to leave the office, making up excuses for his colleagues, it's like he's been struck by lightning.
It makes you wonder, what is it about Lai that's causing this reaction in him? Why is this lunch date so important?
That's the big question. We'll have to see how it unfolds. But amidst all this frantic energy, there's this beautiful sensory detail. Louis walking on fallen leaves.
It's like a moment of stillness before the storm.
Exactly. It grounds him in the setting and kind of highlights the anticipation building inside him. And then there's the anxiety of getting a table. He's worried there won't be space.
Oh, yeah, we've all been there.
It makes him instantly relatable. And then his interaction with Luca at the Freshetta. There's this playful banter, a shared anticipation for Lee's arrival.
So they're both in on the secret, waiting for the main event.
Exactly. And when Leigh finally walks towards the cafe, the way he describes it is so powerful. He compares it to a sailor spotting land after a long voyage.
He must have been incredibly relieved.
Oh, yeah. And the way he observes her every detail, the way she moves her eyeliner, even the mundane details of her day. It reveals so much about his feelings for her.
It's that attention to detail that can make or break a first date for sure. But now let's shift gears and meet the woman who has captured Louis' attention, Leigh.
Right, Leigh. We meet her in her new apartment. She's unpacking boxes, arranging furniture. But there's this key detail. Not everything is unpacked.
Interesting. Like she's hesitant to fully settle in.
Exactly.
Okay.
It suggests a reluctance to embrace this new chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, she was surprised to see Louis the other day, so there's definitely some history there.
A past connection makes you wonder what happened between them.
And she almost didn't meet him for lunch. It took some convincing on his part.
Really? So she's playing it cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
And like Louis, she has her own internal monologue while driving to the cafe, analyzing her behavior, questioning her motivations.
Sounds like she's trying to figure out her own feelings.
Yeah, and I think that's something we can all relate to. But then we get this little detail of her applying eyeliner in the car. Clearly, she wants to make an impression.
Ah, the classic pre-date prep.
Exactly. And then she worries about being underdressed. We've all been there.
Those little human touches make her so relatable.
Right, and when she finally sees Louis, there's this palpable sense of relief and joy. It mirrors his own emotions.
So the feeling is mutual? There's definitely a spark between them?
A spark that's about to be tested Because now it's time for the encounter, the actual appointment.
The moment of truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The air is thick with anticipation. They're navigating that initial awkwardness, that feeling when you're not sure what to say.
Oh, yeah. The first date jitters.
But they start talking, sharing laughter, having these deep conversations, and they're completely ignoring their phones, which is a rarity these days.
So they're completely present in the moment, lost in their own little world.
And then their eyes lock. This silent exchange that speaks volumes about their unspoken feelings. And it's in this moment of vulnerability that Lai makes a bold move.
She goes for it.
She kisses him. It's like the dam breaks, releasing all the pent-up emotion.
Wow. Talk about a turning point.
Right. It completely shifts the dynamic between them. And as they walk to the car, there's this bitter sweetness to their farewell. It's clear that this encounter has left a lasting impression.
But just when we're getting swept up in the romance of it all, LL throws us a curveball.
Oh.
What happens? He brings all three characters together for a final chorus, a shared recitation that goes beyond a simple love story.
Intriguing. So it's not just about Louis and Lei.
Right. It becomes something more universal, a reflection on human connection itself.
How does he do that?
The language becomes more metaphorical, almost poetic. Like he's inviting us to step back from the literal and embrace the symbolic.
I love when playwrights do that. It adds so much depth.
And one of the most striking images is comparing love to a warm woolen garment against the approaching cold.
It's such a vivid image. It evokes this sense of comfort and security. Like love can shield us from the harsh realities of the world.
And that sense of protection is further emphasized by the image of words crossing in midair, suspended above the cafe table.
It's like their conversations, their shared laughter, their vulnerabilities are creating this safe space where they can connect without fear of judgment.
Exactly. And then there's the image of the ripening fruit.
A symbol of growth and transformation.
It suggests that even though this encounter between Louis and Lei might be fleeting, it has the potential to change them both, to nudge them towards a new understanding of themselves and the world.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah.
So it seems like LL is exploring not just romantic love, but the broader theme of human connection in all its forms.
Exactly. And that's what makes this play so compelling. It takes a seemingly simple premise, a lunch date at a cafe, and transforms it into a profound reflection on the human condition.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most profound moments happen in the most ordinary of places.
And on that note, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back to explore the next chapter of Appuntamento. And we're back with Luca. Remember that dream he had about Catania? Any start of his day?
Yeah, he was longing for that lemonade.
Right. Well, now he's clearing the table where Louis and Lei had their little encounter and his thoughts drift back to his hometown.
It's like he's trying to make sense of what he just witnessed, their emotional back and forth,
Yeah, maybe he's seeking that same kind of connection in his own life, that warmth and familiarity.
It's a good question. And just as we're pondering this, Louis returns to the cafe. He's alone this time and looking for another table.
Interesting. I wonder what brings him back.
Right. And there's something different about him. He seems calmer, more at ease.
Like a weight has been lifted off his shoulders.
Yeah. Exactly. The anxiety we saw earlier is gone. And he even teases Luca about his dancing.
Oh, so their relationship has evolved a bit.
Definitely. It's not just waiter and customer anymore. There's this genuine camaraderie, like they're sharing a secret.
It's amazing how a brief encounter can sometimes forge these unexpected bonds.
Right. And it's through this connection with Luca that Louis starts to open up about his feelings for Lei.
I'm all ear.
He compares himself to a contortionist of feelings, trying to unravel this emotional roller coaster he's on.
Love can do that to you, twist you up in knots.
For sure. And he makes this really interesting observation. He says that some encounters like fireworks bright and fleeting, while others are like embers that slowly burn.
Oh, I like that. So which one is Lei for him, fireworks or embers?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's a question that lingers as we move to the final part of the play where all three characters come together through the chorus.
Ah, the chorus. I've been waiting for this.
Me too. This is where LL's writing really takes off.
Yeah.
He weaves these individual stories together into something much bigger.
Something universal.
Exactly. And one of the most powerful images is the comparison of love to a warm woolen garment worn against the approaching cold.
Ooh, that sends shivers down my spine. It's like love is this shield protecting us from the harshness of the world.
Exactly. And that sense of protection is echoed in the image of words crossing in midair, suspended above the cafe table.
It's like their conversations are creating this sacred space where they can be truly vulnerable with each other.
Right. And then there's the image of the ripening fruit. So full of potential.
It suggests that this encounter might be fleeting, but it has the power to transform them both.
To lead them to a new understanding of themselves and the world around them.
Powerful stuff. And now let's shift our focus back to Luca, our observant waiter, who's been silently watching this whole thing unfold.
Right. What insights has he gleaned from this experience? And how will it shape his own journey moving forward?
So we're back with Luca, our watchful waiter. He's clearing away the remnants of Louis and Lee's encounter, the empty coffee cups, the scattered napkins.
Almost like he's erasing the evidence of their connection. Yeah. Or maybe he's trying to hold on to it. Savor those lingering emotions.
It makes you think about how we're all constantly observing each other's lives, even in passing, and how those observations shape our own understanding of the world.
And as Luke is going about his tasks, he starts thinking about his passion, his art, hip-hop dancing.
So we're back to the dancing waiter.
Right. It's like a counterpoint to the romantic drama. A reminder that connection can take many forms.
And how does he describe his dance?
He talks about the rhythm, the movement, the feeling of his body in space. It's not just physical, it's emotional. It's almost like a different language.
So it's his way of expressing himself, connecting with something larger than himself.
Exactly. And that brings us to the final chorus, where all three characters come together.
The moment we've all been waiting for.
Right. It's like LL is hitting the pause button on their individual stories and merging their voices into this collective reflection.
And what's the message of this chorus?
It's about the power of connection. The way it can sustain us, even in the face of hardship. There's this beautiful image of wearing a wool garment of sentience to ward off the approaching cold.
Ooh, that's lovely. It's like love is this warm embrace protecting us from the harshness of the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's that line about words crossing in midair suspended above the cafe table.
Oh, yes.
Mm.
It's like their conversations are creating this invisible web of connection.
Right. And the image of the ripening fruit, symbolizing growth and transformation.
It suggests that even a fleeting encounter can have a lasting impact.
Exactly. So we've come to the end of our deep dive into l'appuntamento. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a sense of hope, a sense of possibility.
Me too. It's a reminder that connection is everywhere, even in the most unexpected places.
And that those seemingly small moments of connection can have a ripple effect, changing us in ways we never imagined.
So keep your eyes open, folks. You never know what magic you might find unfolding around you.
And on that note, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into l'appuntamento. Until next time.